Former special counsel Jack Smith is reportedly ready to go on a counterattack as the Trump administration continues to target Smith and the FBI agents who worked on his team. The New York Times is reporting that Smith has, quote, told people in his orbit that he welcomes the opportunity to present.
Seriously, it blows other tools out of the water. It's crazy smooth to use.
Public case against Mr. Trump denied to him by the Supreme Court decision asserting broad presidential immunity from prosecution and adverse rulings from a Trump-appointed judge on the federal bench in Florida. The paper continues that in two recent interviews, Smith has made it unmistakably clear that he will not only defend himself, but take a hammer to Mr. Trump's exaggerated or false claims about his work as special counsel. Joining us now, former state attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida, Dave Aronberg. Dave, thanks for joining us. So let's talk about this. You know, as discussed, there was a real thought that these legal cases would have been Donald Trump's doom in his presidential campaign. That was not the case. Only one actually got to trial, the matter in New York that most around Trump believe actually helped him win. The other cases were delayed and then scuttled altogether, in part by the Supreme Court ruling and then Trump's election. So tell us what you make of Smith's threat here, if you will, to go to try this case in public, a case he seems very confident of winning.
Yeah, Jonathan, Jack Smith sees what's happening, and he knows that he would be the biggest trophy for Donald Trump's wall of retribution.
Okay, so we need to talk about Jack Smith's latest court filing, because this 165-page document is absolutely devastating. It systematically destroys every defense Trump has offered, and is causing panic not just in Trump's legal team, but throughout the entire Republican establishment. Smith has compiled newly revealed evidence, witness statements, and direct communications that prove beyond any reasonable doubt that Trump knowingly lied about the 2020 election, deliberately pressured officials to break the law to keep him in power, and orchestrated the entire conspiracy, culminating in January 6th. This isn't prosecutors making arguments or presenting theories. This is prosecutors presenting irrefutable documentary and testimonial evidence that proves each element of their case. The filing includes Trump's private communications that directly contradict his public claims about believing the election was stolen. It includes data on Trump's phone usage during January 6th, showing what he was doing and who he was talking to during the attack on the Capitol. It includes specific details of pressure campaigns targeting Mike Pence and other officials with exact quotes showing Trump demanding they violate the law. When you read through this filing, every possible defense Trump could offer is systematically addressed and debunked. Prosecutors have anticipated every argument defense attorneys might make and have preemptively shown why those arguments fail based on the evidence. This is the kind of comprehensive case that results in convictions because there's simply no way to defend against evidence this overwhelming and detailed. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust headlines anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video.
I mean, that's what doesn't make any sense about this. As long as they can keep just saying, you know, witch hunt, and make all these general statements about this investigation, especially the documents case, then you don't have the person that worked for Donald Trump, the IT person, who I think went to the government and wanted to talk about the request that the cameras get scuttled. You don't have reports about the possibility of flooding those files from a maintenance. But yet all of these people that at least was reported went to Smith.
So let's set the scene here, because understanding what makes this filing different from previous filings helps explain why it's creating such shockwaves. Previous Smith filings outlined charges and provided some evidence, but this new filing apparently goes much deeper. It presents the complete narrative of Trump's conspiracy with every detail documented. It shows not just what Trump did, but exactly when he did it, who he communicated with, what he said in private versus public, what warnings he received that what he was planning was illegal, and how he proceeded anyway. This level of detail makes it impossible for Trump to claim misunderstandings or to argue that he genuinely believed his actions were proper. When prosecutors can show you knew something was illegal because your own lawyers told you it was illegal, and then show you did it anyway while lying publicly about it, that's proof of criminal intent that defense attorneys simply cannot overcome. The evidence that goes directly to the heart of Trump's defense means Smith has addressed Trump's central claim that he genuinely believed the election was stolen and was just trying to ensure election integrity. Smith apparently has evidence showing Trump was told repeatedly by his own advisors that there was no fraud, that he had lost, that his legal challenges had failed. Trump's private communications apparently show him acknowledging he lost while publicly claiming victory. That disconnect proves Trump was deliberately lying, not acting on genuine belief. Once you prove the defendant was lying about their core defense, the entire defense collapses. The irrefutable evidence of Trump and aides knowingly promoting lies apparently includes internal communications, where Trump's team discusses how to frame false claims in ways that will be politically useful, even though they know the claims are false. This is conspiracy to commit fraud, multiple people coordinating deliberate lies to achieve illegal goals. When you have communications showing people discussing how to deceive the public, that's powerful evidence that's very difficult to explain away or defend against. The pressure on Mike Pence is documented in extraordinary detail, apparently including specific phone calls, meetings, and written communications where Trump demanded Pence reject electoral votes. The filing apparently includes testimony from Pence himself, from Pence's staff, and from others who witnessed Trump's pressure campaign. When you have the vice president testifying under oath that the president pressured him to break the law, that's incredibly powerful testimony from the most credible possible witness. Pence has every reason to be loyal to Trump, reason to lie. His testimony is devastating, precisely because it comes from someone who would prefer not to testify against Trump, but was compelled to tell the truth. The timing of Smith's filing, putting maximum pressure before trial, is strategic. By presenting this comprehensive case now, Smith forces Trump's legal team to respond. They can't wait until trial to figure out their defense. They have to address Smith's evidence now, and every response they make creates additional statements and positions that can be used against them later. If they try to deny evidence that Smith presents, and then that evidence is proven at trial, it shows their bad faith and undermines their credibility with the jury. If they acknowledge Smith's evidence is accurate, they've essentially conceded major parts of the case. Either way, being forced to respond before trial is disadvantageous for defendants. So why does this filing matter beyond just Trump's legal troubles? Because it's forcing a reckoning for every Republican who's defended Trump. When the evidence is this detailed and this overwhelming, continued defense becomes indefensible. Republicans have to choose whether to keep defending someone whose guilt is proven by overwhelming evidence, or whether to finally acknowledge reality and distance themselves. That choice is politically painful, but unavoidable. And the fact that many Republicans are panicking shows they recognize they can't keep defending Trump when Smith has built a case this strong. The political protection that shielded Trump for years is evaporating because the evidence is too overwhelming to spin or deny. Alright, so let's dig into the specific evidence that Jack Smith presents in this filing and understand exactly why it's so devastating to Trump's defense and why it's causing such panic among Republicans. Because the details are what make this case truly overwhelming. The 165-page length of the filing is significant because it shows the comprehensiveness of the evidence. This isn't a brief outline of charges, this is a detailed narrative supported by extensive evidence. Prosecutors have apparently included or referenced hundreds of pieces of evidence, documents, communications, witness statements, contemporaneous records. The sheer volume makes it impossible for defense attorneys to address everything. They need to rebut hundreds of pieces of evidence, any one of which might be sufficient to prove guilt. That's an impossible defensive burden. The newly revealed evidence apparently includes materials that haven't been public before. Previous reporting and previous filings gave some picture of Smith's case, but this filing apparently includes evidence that hasn't been disclosed until now. New witness testimony, new documents, new communications. Each new piece of evidence is something Trump's team hasn't had the opportunity to spin or develop counter-narratives about. The surprise element makes defense harder because Trump and his allies haven't been able to condition their supporters to dismiss this evidence. The witness statements that Smith includes apparently come from multiple categories of witnesses. Trump's own staff describing what they saw and heard, officials Trump pressured describing the pressure they received, experts explaining why Trump's conduct was illegal, participants in the conspiracy who've cooperated describing how the conspiracy operated, multiple categories of witnesses all corroborating each other creates powerful cumulative evidence. When White House staff say Trump did X and state officials say they received pressure to do Y, and legal experts say X and Y together constitute crime Z, and cooperating co-conspirators describe how X and Y were coordinated, that combination is devastating. The direct communications from Trump are probably the most damaging evidence because they show Trump's own words, not filtered through witnesses or interpreted by prosecutors. If Smith has emails or texts or recorded calls where Trump explicitly instructs people to take illegal actions, that's direct proof from Trump's own mouth. Defense attorneys can attack witness credibility, but they can't credibly claim Trump didn't say things that are documented in his own communications. That's why the existence of direct communications is so important. It's proof that can't be denied or spun. The systematic dismantling of Trump's innocence claims means Smith has anticipated and addressed every possible defense. Defense attorneys will argue Trump believed the election was stolen. Smith presents evidence showing Trump was told he lost.